Listen closely, because this message is not loud, it is not dramatic, and it does not beg for attention. It moves quietly, like truth always does. There are things happening in your life right now that you cannot explain, moments where you feel pulled, stretched, isolated, and awakened all at the same time. You've wondered why certain doors closed without warning, why people you love suddenly couldn't walk with you anymore, why your spirit feels heavy yet expectant. This is not random. This is not punishment. This is preparation. And what I'm about to speak is not meant for everyone, because not everyone is built to carry it. Chosen ones are rarely chosen because they are comfortable. They are chosen because they are resilient. They are chosen because they can endure silence, misunderstanding, delay, and pressure without losing their core. You may have noticed that your life doesn't follow the normal timeline. While others seem to move ahead easily, you are asked to wait. While others celebrate publicly, you are refined privately. While others are applauded early, you are shaped in obscurity. That is not rejection, that is protection. There are revelations that, if shared too early, would be destroyed by unprepared ears. Not everyone can handle what you are becoming, and not everyone deserves access to what has been entrusted to you. That's why your journey feels lonely at times. That's why you often feel like you're carrying something sacred but unnamed. You are not imagining it. There is weight on your life, and weight always comes with responsibility. You've been through cycles where nothing made sense. Cycles where you did everything right and still faced resistance. Cycles where you prayed and nothing moved, where you worked and nothing changed, where you believed and nothing happened. But what you didn't see was that something was happening in you. Your patience was being strengthened. Your discernment was being sharpened. Your dependence was being redirected. You were being taught how to stand without applause and move without validation. Chosen ones are often misunderstood because they don't fit into familiar categories. They don't chase crowds, yet crowds eventually follow them. They don't seek power, yet power recognizes them. They don't demand attention, yet their presence shifts rooms. And this confuses people who only understand surface level success. They look at you and can't figure out why you don't move like everyone else, why you don't react the same way, why you don't break when you should have. There are moments when you feel like speaking everything you know, exposing everything you've seen, explaining everything you've endured. But wisdom has been teaching you restraint. Silence has been one of your greatest trainings. Because revelation without timing becomes noise, and truth without discernment becomes a burden. You've learned that not everyone who asks questions deserves answers. Not everyone who listens is meant to understand. You have been protected from certain spaces not because you weren't qualified, but because you were too valuable. There were rooms that would have celebrated you temporarily but drained you permanently. There were opportunities that looked good on the outside but would have compromised your assignment on the inside. So you were delayed, you were denied, you were redirected. And at the time it felt unfair, but now you're beginning to see that preservation sometimes looks like exclusion. Chosen ones are often the first to feel the shift before it becomes visible. You sense change before it arrives. You feel endings before they happen. You outgrow environments silently while others are still comfortable. And this creates tension because your spirit moves faster than your surroundings. You start to feel restless, not because something is wrong, but because something is forming. Growth often feels like discomfort before it feels like freedom. There is a reason you can't fully explain what you're carrying. Language hasn't caught up to your calling yet. Words fall short of what you sense internally. You know there is more, but you also know that more cannot be rushed. You've learned that forcing doors leads to exhaustion, while waiting for alignment leads to acceleration. So you wait even when it hurts. You prepare even when no one is watching. You've noticed that the battles you face are not always external. Some of the hardest fights happen in your mind, where doubt whispers and fear tries to negotiate your future. You question yourself, your timing, your worth. But even in those moments, something deeper holds you steady, a quiet knowing, a subtle assurance that despite the chaos, you are still on course. This revelation is forbidden to share widely because not everyone is meant to hear it at this stage. Some would mock it, some would misuse it, some would try to replicate it without understanding the cost. What you carry has been forged through pressure, loss, surrender, and endurance. It cannot be copied. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be explained fully until the right season arrives. You have been trained to move with integrity when shortcuts were available. You were taught discipline when distraction was everywhere. You were shaped to value depth in a world obsessed with speed. That's why your progress looks slower to others but stronger in reality. Foundations take time. Roots grow unseen, and when the season changes, what was hidden becomes undeniable. There were nights you cried without words, Days you smiled while breaking internally, seasons you questioned whether it was worth it to keep going. But something in you refused to quit, not because you were fearless, but because you were faithful to the process, and that faithfulness has been recorded even when no one applauded it. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are precisely where you need to be for what you are becoming. Timing is not about speed, it's about alignment. And when alignment happens, movement becomes effortless. Things that once resisted you will begin to cooperate. Doors that once ignored you will recognize you. But even then, you will move with humility because you remember what it took to get there. There is a reason your circle became smaller, a reason your tolerance for surface-level connections diminished, a reason you crave authenticity over attention. You are being prepared for impact, and impact requires clarity. Noise had to be removed, distractions had to be stripped away so you could hear clearly, move intentionally, and lead responsibly. You may feel like you're reholding a secret that burns inside you, a truth that wants to emerge but knows it must wait. That tension is not weakness, it is maturity. You're learning that power does not announce itself prematurely. It reveals itself when the environment can sustain it. And as you continue walking this path, there will be moments where you are tempted to settle, to explain yourself, to lower your standards just to feel understood. But remember, being understood by everyone is not the goal. Being aligned with your purpose. Some paths are lonely because they are sacred. Some assignments are heavy because they are significant. You're being shaped to speak when your voice will matter, to move when your steps will create change, to stand when others will look for direction. Until then, you observe, you learn, you grow, you remain grounded, because the revelation you carry is not just information, it is transformation, and transformation requires patience. So if you feel like you're in between, not where you were, but not yet where you're going, understand that this space is intentional. It is here that strength is refined, vision is clarified, and character is sealed. This is where you learn to trust without seeing, to believe without proof, to persist without applause. And as the days unfold, you will begin to notice subtle shifts, internal confirmations, quiet alignments that let you know you are closer than you think. Not everything needs to be said right now. Not everything needs to be revealed. Some truths are still unfolding, some doors are still forming, and some chapters are still being written. And the rhythm of this journey continues to move forward, shaping you moment by moment, step by step, into someone who will one day speak freely about what once had to remain unspoken. But until that moment arrives, you walk, you wait, you watch, and you carry what has been entrusted to you with reverence, knowing that the silence itself is part of the preparation and the story is far from finished. There will be days ahead where the stillness feels louder than noise, where nothing external changes, yet everything inside you keeps rearranging itself. You may wake up sensing urgency without instructions, clarity without explanation, readiness without a visible opportunity. This is the internal alignment happening before the external shift. Before anything manifests outwardly, it always settles inwardly first. You are learning to recognize movements that don't announce themselves, progress that doesn't ask permission to be seen. You will notice that your reactions are changing, things that once triggered. You no longer hold the same power. Conversations that used to drain you now reveal themselves quickly, and you withdraw without guilt. You're not becoming cold, you're becoming selective. Energy is a currency you no longer spend carelessly. You've learned the cost of overextending, of proving yourself, of explaining things to people, committed to misunderstanding you. There is a heightened awareness forming in you. You read between words. You feel intentions behind smiles. You sense shifts before they are spoken. This discernment was not given lightly. It was earned through disappointment, betrayal, and lessons that cut deep enough to educate your spirit. That's why you no longer rush decisions. You pause, you observe, you let things reveal themselves fully before you move. At times you may feel like you are standing still while the world races forward, but in reality you are being calibrated. Like an instrument being fine-tuned before performance, every small adjustment matters. Every delay corrects alignment. Every closed door redirects focus. What seems like inactivity is actually precision work happening beneath the surface. You've outgrown environments that once felt familiar. Places you used to belong now feel restrictive. It's not arrogance, it's evolution. Growth creates distance naturally. You cannot stay where your spirit no longer fits. That doesn't mean you reject people or places with bitterness. You simply acknowledge that some seasons are complete, even if they ended quietly. There's also a deeper compassion forming in you. You understand pain differently now. You recognize struggle without needing it to be explained. You don't rush to judge because you've lived long enough to know that appearances rarely tell the full story. This compassion will matter later when your influence increases and people look to you not just for direction, but for understanding. You may have noticed that your victories don't excite you the way they once did. Achievements feel quieter, less about celebration and more about confirmation. That's because you are no longer chasing validation, you're pursuing alignment. Applause fades quickly, purpose sustains, and you are being rooted in something that lasts. There are moments when doubt still tries to visit. It questions whether the waiting is worth it, whether the silence means absence, whether the resistance is a sign to turn back. But doubt doesn't stay long anymore. It arrives, speaks, and leaves because it no longer has authority over you. You've learned to acknowledge without obeying it. You are also learning that strength does not always look like movement. Sometimes strength is restraint. Sometimes courage is choosing not to react. Sometimes faith is staying when leaving would be easier. You've been trained to hold your position when everything urges you to flee. This steadiness is rare, and it's one of the reasons you were entrusted with what you carry. As you continue forward, you may experience moments where people resurface unexpectedly. Old connections, old conversations, old patterns may attempt to re-enter your life. This is not coincidence. It's confirmation. Life often tests growth by presenting familiar situations and watching how you respond. And you will respond differently now, not with emotion, but with clarity. You no longer need to announce your boundaries. You enforce them quietly through behavior. You no longer argue your worth. You demonstrate it through consistency. You no longer chase understanding. You prioritize peace. These shifts may go unnoticed by others, but they are monumental internally. There will be times when the responsibility of what you're becoming feels heavy, when you wish you could be less aware, less intentional, less called. But even in those moments, you know you wouldn't trade this depth for ease. You've seen too much to go back to shallow living. You felt too deeply to numb yourself again. You are beginning to understand that the path you're on was never meant to be crowded. It requires solitude, reflection, and inner strength. It requires the ability to sit with yourself without distraction, to confront your own thoughts without escaping them. Many avoid this work. You embraced it even when it was uncomfortable. Your patience is being stretched, not to frustrate you, but to prepare you. You are being taught to trust timing beyond your control, to release the illusion that force creates results, to understand that what is truly meant for you will arrive without manipulation. This patience will protect you from premature success that collapses under pressure. You may also sense that your voice is changing, not in volume, but in weight. When you speak, your words carry experience. When you listen, you hear beyond the surface. This will matter when others seek guidance, when your words become anchors for people navigating their own uncertainty. There is an internal integrity forming that refuses shortcuts. Even when an easier path presents itself, something in you resists. You would rather arrive later with peace than sooner with compromise. This discipline will save you from situations that look beneficial but carry hidden costs. You are being prepared to handle visibility without losing humility, influence without losing self-awareness, authority without losing compassion. These balances are not learned overnight. They are developed through seasons of obscurity. Where character is tested without witnesses, sometimes you may feel the urge to isolate, to pull back from everything and everyone. While rest and reflection are necessary, remember that isolation is a tool, not a destination. You withdraw to recharge, not to disappear. Balance will come as you learn when to engage and when to retreat. Your journey has taught you that not everything broken needs to be fixed, and not everything lost needs to be recovered. Some things leave to make room. Some endings create space for beginnings that would not have fit otherwise. You are learning to bless what departs without clinging to what has expired. As time passes, you will notice that opportunities begin to align differently. They won't demand that you abandon yourself to access them. They will meet you where you are, respecting your values rather than challenging them. This is the result of inner alignment attracting external harmony. You are also becoming comfortable with not being understood immediately. You've accepted that clarity comes with time, and that some people will only recognize your value in hindsight. This no longer wounds you. You know that delayed recognition does not diminish true worth. There is a quiet confidence growing in you. Not arrogance, not superiority, but assurance. You trust your instincts more. You honor your limits. You respect your process. You don't rush to compare your journey with others because you know you are building something different. You may still feel moments of weariness. The process is demanding. Growth is not effortless. But even in fatigue, there is purpose. You rest without guilt now. You restore intentionally. You understand that sustainability matters more than speed. You are learning that success without peace is failure in disguise. That progress without integrity is temporary. that fulfillment without alignment is hollow. These understandings reshape your decisions even when no one is watching. As you continue, you will find yourself less reactive to chaos around you. Noise no longer dictates your movement. You remain centered even when circumstances fluctuate. This stability becomes a refuge not only for you, but for others drawn to your presence without fully knowing why. You are still in motion, even when it feels slow. You are still becoming, even when it feels repetitive. Every day adds another layer of depth, another measure of clarity, another degree of readiness. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. There will come moments where you feel the urge to speak more boldly, to step forward more visibly, to express what has been forming quietly. And when those moments arrive, you will recognize them not by pressure, but by peace. You will know when to move because resistance will no longer dominate. Until then, you continue refining, you continue observing. You continue trusting what you cannot yet explain. You honor the process without demanding immediate proof. You walk steadily, grounded in what you know internally, even when the external world has not caught up yet. And as this rhythm continues, as the days layer upon each other, you remain attentive to the subtle instructions, the quiet confirmations, the internal shifts that signal progress without noise. You understand now that becoming is not a moment, it is a movement, and you are still within that movement, still being shaped, still being aligned, still carrying what must remain protected for now, moving forward without rushing the unveiling, knowing that what is unfolding is deliberate, intentional, and still in motion, and the path ahead continues to open one step at a time, without ending, without pause, without needing to announce itself as it keeps guiding you forward. There will be layers of realization that arrive slowly, not all at once. Because if everything were revealed in a single moment, it would overwhelm even the strongest mind. You're being taught in increments, trained through experience rather than explanation. What you learn through living settles deeper than what you learn through hearing. That is why your lessons have been personal, sometimes painful, often quiet. They were designed to reach places words never could. You may notice that your tolerance for chaos continues to decrease. Not because chaos has disappeared, but because you no longer identify with it. Disorder feels foreign now. Confusion feels intrusive. You crave clarity, not perfection, but direction. This craving is not impatience, it is maturity. You are no longer entertained by instability. You desire things that last. There is also a growing discomfort with surface-level ambition. You see how easily people chase outcomes without understanding consequences. You watch how quickly others rush toward visibility without preparation. And instead of envying them, you feel a strange calm, knowing that speed without structure collapses under pressure. You've learned that being unseen for a season is not the same as being insignificant. You may find yourself revisiting memories, not with pain, but with perspective. Situations that once confused you now make sense. Conversations that once hurt now teach. Losses that once felt unbearable now appear necessary. Healing has shifted your lens. You don't rewrite the past, but you finally understand it. Your intuition is becoming sharper because you've stopped ignoring it. There were times before when you felt something was wrong but proceeded anyway, hoping logic would override instinct. Experience corrected that. Now, when something feels off, you pause. You listen. You respect that internal signal, knowing it has already saved you from paths you didn't belong on. You are also learning how to be present without being consumed. You engage fully, but you no longer lose yourself in situations that don't align with your values. You contribute without attachment to outcome. You care without self-betrayal. This balance was hard-earned. There will be moments when people project their expectations onto you. They will assume you owe them access, answers, or availability simply because you are capable. But capability does not equal obligation. You are learning to say no internally, even when you say yes externally, to choose wisely where you invest your energy. You've become aware that leadership begins long before recognition. It begins in how you handle inconvenience, how you respond to pressure, how you treat people who cannot advance you. These private decisions are shaping your future more than any public achievement. At times, you may feel like you are carrying multiple versions of yourself. The one you were, the one you are becoming, and the one you sense ahead of you. This internal layering can feel heavy, but it is also evidence of growth. You are integrating experience, wisdom, and vision into a single direction. You no longer rush to fix everything. You've learned that some situations resolve themselves when given time, and some people reveal themselves when allowed to speak freely. Silence has become a strategy rather than a weakness. Observation has become a form of preparation. You may notice that your prayers, intentions, or inner conversations have changed. You ask less for things and more for clarity, less for speed and more for alignment, less for comfort and more for strength. This shift signals trust. You trust that what is meant for you will arrive without force. There is also an increasing awareness that you are not here to convince everyone. Your role is not to be universally accepted. Your role is to be accurate, consistent, and grounded. Resonance matters more than popularity. Depth matters more than numbers. You are learning how to hold confidence without comparison. Someone else's progress no longer threatens yours. Someone else's success does not diminish your potential. You understand now that paths can run parallel without intersecting, and that comparison only distracts from your own responsibilities. There will be moments when your restraint is misunderstood as hesitation, your silence mistaken for uncertainty, your patience interpreted as lack of ambition. Let that happen. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Some clarity only arrives through time. You are also becoming more aware of your inner dialogue. You catch negative patterns sooner. You interrupt self-doubt before it settles. You replace criticism with curiosity. This internal discipline strengthens your external stability. You've learned that growth often feels repetitive before it feels progressive. The same lessons appear in different forms until they are fully integrated. You no longer resent repetition. You recognize it as reinforcement. You may still encounter resistance, but it no longer destabilizes you. You expect it. You understand that resistance often confirms direction rather than negates it. You don't take it personally, you assess it strategically. Your sense of identity is shifting from what you do to who you are. You are less defined by roles and more by values. This makes you adaptable without being fragmented. You can evolve without losing yourself. There is also a quiet grief you carry sometimes, not for what you lost, but for who you had to become to survive certain seasons. You honor that version of yourself now. You don't judge it. You recognize that strength often forms in response to necessity, not preference. You may find that your sense of humor has changed. Your interests have evolved, your priorities have rearranged themselves. This is natural. Growth does not ask permission before it alters your preferences. It simply moves you forward. You are learning that rest is not a reward, but a requirement, that slowing down does not mean falling behind, that pausing can be strategic. You no longer glorify burnout, you value sustainability. There will be moments where clarity arrives suddenly, like a puzzle piece snapping into place. You won't announce it, you'll simply adjust. Your actions will reflect the shift before your words do. You're becoming more comfortable with uncertainty, not because you enjoy it, but because you trust yourself within it. You know that even if plans change, you can adapt. Even if paths close, you can reroute. You may feel called to create, to build, to express something that has been forming internally for a long time. When that urge grows stronger, don't rush it. Let it mature. What is born prematurely requires constant rescue. You've learned that discipline creates freedom, not restriction. That structure supports creativity. That boundaries protect vision. These understandings influence how you design your days, your habits, your commitments. You are also recognizing that not every relationship is meant to grow with you. Some were meant to teach, some were meant to support for a season, some were meant to challenge you into growth. You release them without resentment. There is an increasing sense of responsibility that comes with awareness. You understand that what you know now requires you to live differently. Integrity becomes non-negotiable. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You may find yourself standing at crossroads more often, where multiple options appear viable. Instead of rushing, you evaluate alignment. You ask not just what works, but what fits. This discern me. NT saves you from detours. You are learning that momentum is built quietly through consistency. Small actions repeated daily matter more than dramatic gestures. You commit to what you can sustain. You no longer underestimate the power of preparation. You understand that when opportunity arrives, it favors readiness, not intention. So you prepare even when nothing seems imminent. There are moments when gratitude surfaces unexpectedly, not for ease, but for endurance. You appreciate the strength you've developed, the clarity you've gained, the resilience you didn't know you had. You are becoming someone who listens deeply, speaks intentionally, moves deliberately. This presence creates trust without effort. People feel safe around those who are grounded. You may still wrestle with timing, with wanting to see results faster, with wondering how much longer certain seasons will last. But even in those questions, there is trust. You no longer panic. You inquire. You understand now that becoming is not linear. There are advances and retreats, clarity and confusion, certainty and questioning. You allow the process to breathe. As you continue forward, you remain attentive to what strengthens you and what drains you. You choose wisely. You conserve energy. You invest intentionally. You are still unfolding, still aligning, still integrating lessons into action, still refining vision through experience. Nothing about this journey is accidental. Every pause, every shift, every quiet confirmation is contributing to what you are becoming. And so you continue, not seeking an ending, not demanding arrival, but moving steadily within the process itself, allowing growth to deepen, awareness to expand, strength to stabilize, and purpose to clarify as the rhythm carries you forward, uninterrupted, still evolving, still listening, still walking into what has not yet fully revealed itself, remaining present in the unfolding without closing the chapter, without drawing a line, without concluding what is still actively becoming. And now, as everything you've heard settles within you, understand this clearly: you were never meant to rush this journey or expose it before its time. What has been forming in you requires silence, pressure, patience, and trust. Every delay shaped you, every loss refined you, every unanswered question strengthened your inner foundation. You are not standing at the end of something, you are standing at the threshold of expression. When the moment arrives, you will not need to announce who you are or explain what you carry. Your presence will speak, your alignment will testify, your consistency will reveal what words once could not. Until then, you walk forward with calm assurance, grounded in truth, unmoved by noise, honoring the process that shaped you, knowing that what was hidden was never wasted, what was delayed was never denied, and what was entrusted to you will emerge at the exact moment it is meant to, complete, undeniable, and fully prepared to stand.